a lot of things are going wrong and they get a diagnosis, particularly of an autoimmune, I think that's when we would say there's probably a leaky gut. So if you think about the gut lining, so if you think about the gut, so you put food in, right? And then waste comes out, like whatever we didn't digest plus toxins comes out the other end. That is our plumbing from the mouth to the anus. There is our internal plumbing, and we do not want any leaks in it, just like we don't want a leak under our kitchen sink or kitchen bathroom or in our walls. And so the gut lining, so the gut has something called like the lining has cilia, which is like little hair-like projections that line the gut. On the cilia are enzymes and do the final breakdown of foods. And so honestly, like the lining of the gut there's a lot of mucosal linings. So there's like kind of like a mucus lining that is part of our immune system and also our microbiome. So there's a lot of bacteria that line the gut. And then our nervous system, right? So there's these like three main systems. And we can even look at them as like the vata, the air and ether is like our internal Wi-Fi. It's like the enteric nervous system lining the gut. And then our fire is like the microbiome lining the gut. And then our immune system lining the gut. Now, whenever we eat, we have all these digestive secretions, right? And that is helping us to liquefy and break down our food so that eventually, once these long chains of either fats or proteins or sugars are single, they're not like polysaccharides, they're not fatty acid chains, they're individual little tiny fatty acids, little tiny saccharides, singles, and little tiny amino acids. Once they are like that, the enzymes on the lining of the gut can bring them through the gut. And they're like, okay, you're allowed to come out now. And then they travel through the bloodstream. And our immune system is like, yeah, those are good. Those single things, we're used to them. They're good. We don't need to worry about them. We know what they are. We've already checked them out. So what can happen in a leaky gut situation is, let's say I am eating food that I have a slight sensitivity to or allergy to. And so I eat that food, not eating mindfully. There's a lot of different things, or I'm like super stressed, but for whatever reason, when I eat that food, I'm having an immune response, and I'm having an immune response, and that my immune system is firing, and that's creating a bit of inflammation in the gut lining. And then over time, those junctions of the gut start to break down because there's so much inflammation and breakdown, and there's immune system going after things, and things start to break down. And so suddenly those tight junctions become more open because and maybe the cilia that was like this starts getting protracted and open. So suddenly bigger molecules that are not supposed to get out because they're not fully broken down are coming out and traveling through the bloodstream. And the immune system is like, what is that? And byproducts of our microbiome. So the microbiome is helping us break down our food, and they're munching on things and they're releasing waste products, and they're leaving the gut when they're not supposed to, and they're starting to travel through the body. And when there's leaky gut, a lot of times there can be like depression or anxiety. And a lot of times it's because there's these, they're called LPS, lipopolysaccharides. Those are waste products of the microbiome. They're getting into the bloodstream and they're going through the brain, and we're just kind of like, ugh. It just makes us not feel good. It can contribute to things like depression and things like that. So we've got this whole host of things that starts happening because things are getting out of the gut that aren't supposed to get out of the gut. Another example of leaky gut too is, let's say I am burning the candle at both ends. I'm working really hard, but then at night I'm like, this is the only time I have for me. And I'm like, give me my wine, and I'm going to stay up late and watch this Netflix show because it's so enjoyable. It's the only time I have for me, right? So I'm burning the candles both ends. I've got a lot of cortisol. So that cortisol, because I'm not sleeping, all these things, my lining of my gut starts to thin. And then guess what? Then let's say I eat something and maybe there's like a bacteria or a parasite or something. We call those kind of things like parasites. They're very opportunistic. They're looking for an opportunity. And I'm stressed, my lining is thin, my immune system is down, and it just gets in there. And so sometimes like bacterias or parasites or other things can, or funguses or whatever, molds can get into and burr in there and create problems that way too. And then part of what happens in that situation is my immune system's like, oh, I'm going to go after that. So then there's more immune stuff happening in the gut as a result of that. So ultimately, leaky gut is like that beautiful, like, if you kind of picture like, almost like seaweed or like coral reef, like everything's kind of flowing in there. The water's kind of, the nutrients are flowing in and out. Things are allowed to go in and out. And then suddenly there's all this inflammation and the lining kind of starts to change, and then the gaps open and things can get out. Now, when we talk about leaky gut, we often talk about like the 4R approach, which is like the first thing we want to do when there's any kind of, we need to assess the gut, is we want to remove. We want to get rid of whatever's causing the damage. And so maybe somebody's eating gluten and it's causing the breakdown, and they have an allergy to it. Maybe there's a pathogen, we need to get that out with like herbs or antibiotics or something like that. So the first step is remove. And the wonderful thing to know, and this is why when somebody says like, well, I got diagnosed with leaky gut like 4 years ago, I'm like, well, you might not still have it, because our gut is some of the fastest growing tissues in the body. So as soon as you remove whatever it is, your gut is going to try to reheal. I mean, it's homeostasis. It's like, we want to close the junctions and heal as quickly as we can. So that is one of the good things. If we can remove it, that's a good thing. Now, if it has been going on for a long time, then, and, like, let's say it has been going, there's all this inflammation and we're really not good at absorbing food and getting the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need, then like our stomach or our pancreas or our liver or whatever, like they might be kind of like, we're sort of running on empty. We don't have all the building blocks. So sometimes we need to replace, that's the second R, replace the nutrients. Like we need to give the body a little bit more. Maybe we need to take digestive enzymes. Maybe we need a little hydrochloric acid. Maybe we need to make sure that we're having regular bowel movements, or we need to slow things down. So we need to replace, like, to help harmonize and help things to happen. And then we might need to re-inoculate if we do have to take antibiotics, or if, sometimes if there's a leaky gut going on for a while, there might be a lot of dysbiosis. The microbiome communities might be off, and they play a big role in how we feel digestively. So we need to re-inoculate. And then the next step would be to repair, to continue to repair and have like reparative nutrients that the body needs. And then the next step, after leaky gut, which there's usually the 4, is just to, I can't remember the word that I used, but it's like even like reevaluate or, reconfigure, knowing that like, okay, I probably can't have those foods anymore, or I probably can't have the lifestyle of burning it at both ends, or maybe I need to change some things in my life, and there's like a new normal. And even just pairing that conversation with the broth, I think that's where broth really comes to and shows up as such a healing food, or like, the nutrients, glutamine, or even like things in zinc. Oh, I know one thing I was going to say about leaky gut too, is that if you think about the lining of the gut, right, and it's supposed to be like this, but it's all intact. If you imagine, think like as food is allowed to leave the gut and go into the bloodstream, the guards at the gates of the lining is vitamin D. I mean, vitamin D plays so many roles, but one of the roles they have is kind of like protecting the lining. So that is when our vitamin D is low, then our like lining is low. So even anytime we get any kind of like autoimmune diagnosis or anything, or low immune or whatever, we want to make sure we have enough vitamin D.